When we last left off, Tempus had begun to descend, leading face first in case there are any more traps along the way. So you guys come down to another room, and you can see that there are 4 statues that decorate the middle of the room. And it's kind of creepy just seeing these 4 figures standing there. And you don't really see anything else in here.
What do the statues look like?
They appear to be of elven descent. The first wears heavy plate armor and holds 2 long curved swords. The second carries a bow and wears a fur cloak with the head of a wolf. The third has a walking stick that appears to have broken off above the hand that holds it and wears robes. The fourth wears scale mail and holds a heavy mace and shield with a silver C on the front. And if anybody would like to give me a religion check on that one, you can. And there are also name plaques on each of them.
I will roll religion.
I'd like to read the name plaques.
I rolled religion.
Yaereene, despite being
No clue.
an elf, has no idea that this is the symbol for the god of elves, Corlin Larethian, which amuses me to no end. But
She
Katiara
may
knows
also not have a clue that it's anything religious.
That's true.
I blame it on her being a city elf and not being truly in touch with her heritage.
That's fair. So Katiara and Miri both recognize that as the symbol of Corlin. And Ysmyr said she's reading the names. The first one with the curved swords is Thelenar the Eternal, protector of the elves, slayer of Rethenark the Red, son of the Canopy King. The second one is Corsifian the Quick, warden of the Brightwood, orc slayer, Icefoot. The third one is Waferel Hymslinger, destroyer of the Vile, decimator of Nordgard, fire of the Tundra. And the fourth one is Gilforenz the Blessed, builder of the Temple School, champion of Corlin, feller of Mirkgorn the Terrible.
I look around the third one to see if the staff head has fallen off and has a figure on top of it.
You don't see anything.
And Ysmyr is just going to read that all out to everyone.
So do you guys know what his staff is supposed to look like at the top?
I was hoping that there was a top to the staff that would give us a clue, but from what he says, there's nothing underneath that would fit on top and give that clue.
Right, but you guys seem to know this guy, so what's his staff supposed to look like? What should we be looking for?
Would that be another religion check, or would that be an arcana check?
To know what his staff is supposed to look like, I would say a history check.
I assume I cannot make a history check on this.
Would they be characters in some of the stories that Elder Morningsun would have told me?
Well, you guys definitely just recently heard about Thelenar the Eternal.
Yeah, but that's not the third dude, which is Wayfalar. Now, if you remember in my backstory, I said I focused on old ancient stories, and I was against the modern trend, which is part of what got me in trouble with my original college. Would I have been interested in this cycle of stories?
I'll give you advantage on the roll, and we'll see.
Okay, so I got a 14 the first time. I'll just roll again. Meh.
Yeah, you've really just started digging into the history of the Northern Reaches and some of the elven heroes of old. So this is really, really interesting to you, but you haven't learned anything about any of these particular elves in your studies so far.
Makes sense, since I ran like around 800 miles from my old college.
Would I be able to make a check that might help? Or
Sure. If you want to give me a history check.
do I get any advantage from having heard the stories from Elder Morningsun?
You get advantage because of your nifty magic item that you started with.
No, I don't. That's religion.
Is it? Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Damn your honesty, woman.
Yep.
Sure, yeah, I'll give you advantage on it because you've listened to all of the old tales, and he might have mentioned some of these.
We know for certain that he mentioned at least one of them very recently.
Yep. You don't have any more luck than Kaitiera does in figuring out who these people might have been.
Sadly, history is not trained. Religion is.
Okay. Can I just look around the room and on the statues for anything like connected to the pendant we had or anything like that? Like the pendant key that we used to get down here?
Right. You don't see any symbols that match that pendant key that you found upstairs.
Okay, and with that, like looking around, is this just the only room down here? Does it look like it continues on?
It definitely continues on beyond these 4 statues, and you can see alcoves in the wall, starting in the hallway that leads on.
Tempus is poking around in the alcoves.
You don't read Elven, do you, Tempus?
Bah!
Didn't think so. So you do see that there are gilded plates above each of the alcoves with some kind of foreign runes carved into them, but you don't understand them. And you do see that there are trinkets and such in the alcoves.
Well, I'll point out the writing and the trinkets to the rest of the party. I am not looting until Miri gives me permission.
I'll go take a look.
Okay. So you see that some of the nameplates here match the names on the statues. There's one, the first one says Thelinar, and inside the alcove there's an old rusted sword, and another one that is in fine condition and has a couple of runes carved into it. There's another one for Corsefin, and you see just a few blue arrowheads scattered around in that alcove. The next one is for Wayfarel, and you see an ancient tome that appears to be in very rough condition, just laying there. And Gilferen's has the sea holy symbol for Corlin on a silvery chain that's laying there. And there are also a couple of names that you don't recognize. The first is Sharina, and you can see a tarnished silver circlet stylized like leaves resting in that alcove. And the next one is Ariel, and you can see a small golden box resting in that alcove. And by the time you get to that one, you're in another room, and you can see in that room there is a massive stone throne that's larger than life, and it fills the far end of the chamber. And there's an immense elven figure with a long pointed beard who sits forward, his marble eyes staring down at you as you enter the chamber. And as you move along the alcoves, no matter where you go in this room, it seems like those sightless eyes are watching you. And around the alcoves in this room, you're starting to see kind of a silvery veins of metal running through the walls as well that make apparently random vine-like patterns through the walls.
Ryan, I'd like to cast as a ritual identify on the banged up book from the third dude.
Okay, so that'll take you 10 minutes to cast. What's everybody else doing while KTR is doing that?
I let everybody know what I'm doing, then I sit down and do it.
Miri is at this point heavily considering going back upstairs to talk to Elder Morningstar about this.
Are there any names that might identify the stone figure on the throne?
You go and take a look, and there is a plaque at the base of the throne that reads, "The Canopy King, Savior of the Elves, Herald of the Dawn, Peacemaker for the Undead, slain by grief for the double loss of his son to Glathor, the vile Lich Lord, and then needing to slay his son by his own hand when Thelinar rose as an undead fiend. In his sorrow, he renounced the light."
Okay, with that, I definitely would like to go upstairs and get Elder Morningsun.
Yaereene would like to look at this figure and spend some time seeing if she can figure out how he watches her from wherever she is.
Okay, Yaereene, give me a perception check.
I am nailing it today.
Yeah, you have no idea, but it's the weirdest thing. Like, no matter where you stand in this room, you just get the feeling like this statue is looking at you.
Miri has also noticed this. That's creepy, and that's why she wants to go get Elder Morningsun.
Okay, are you going to leave without Keitira? Because he's just starting his ritual.
Well, Miri can go. Ysmyr's not going anywhere.
Tempus is going to quietly interject and say, "I'm not a lot of good down here. If you desire your elder, I could fetch him for you."
I'm not sure that Tempus's method of
Sure thing, on it,
fetch-
Miri.
I'm just seeing Tempus going up there, grabbing him, throwing him over his shoulder, and jogging all the way back with him yelling and mumbling about old stories on the whole time.
Yeah, if Tempus is leaving, Miri is following him. Quickly, she wants to at least explain.
Don't take too long, you two.
We'll try not to.
Keitira is rolling his eyes at all this interruptions that is kind of screwing with his focus.
Yareene's going to spend the rest of the time while Keitira is casting, wondering about playing with the statue.
So is there anything specific that you're doing with the statue, Yaereene?
No, just watching the eyes move and,
The eyes aren't moving. You just get the sense that it's looking at you.
Fair enough. She's going to be running all around the room, checking it out.
Okay. Is Ysmyr doing anything in the meantime?
She's kind of tempted to pick up some of the things in the alcoves, but last time she grabbed something, she got cut and poisoned, so she's not.
Oh, wow, you learned. I love it.
We still have the scroll of detect magic, right?
Yes, that was not used last time.
Point of reference, I still have my inspiration from way back when.
Yep.
Speaking out loud, she's just going to be like, I think I'm going to use that scroll we found just to make sure there's no surprises in here as well. And she might just use it.
Okay. So you crack open the scroll of detect magic.
Do I start to see her unroll it? And if so, you see me shaking my head no.
You are in the middle of your ritual right now, so you're not paying any attention to anything going on around you.
Fair.
I did say maybe, just gonna, because I'm still kind of debating. She'll have it unrolled for now. If the others, she'll wait until Keitira's done his identify, and then she's going to run the idea by them.
Okay.
Otherwise, she's just trying to puzzle everything out.
How do you mean by puzzle everything out?
Connect all the names, connect who the statues are, see if there's anything else kind of hidden that they're missing, because they didn't clue into the pendant opening the secret entrance until for a few minutes, so she's trying to see if there's anything else like that.
Okay. Give me an investigation roll.
We're rolling great.
Well, actually, that roll is good enough because it's not particularly difficult to find. You find that the silvery vines in the walls meet behind the throne, and there you find some writing in Elven that's it's worked into the silver that's lining the rest of the walls. And it says, "Trespasser, so long as I bear witness to you, the way shall remain shut."
Yaereene, is Does the statue still feel like it's watching you?
Yeah, I think so.
Try covering its eyes.
Sure. I put a bandana on it, grab a piece of clothing out of my bag, and put a bandana on it and see if it can still see me.
You don't get the sense that it sees you.
That might have worked. Who knows?
Well, I just found this, and it says it's basically telling trespassers that so long as they whatever can see us, the way will remain shut. So there must be another doorway. I was just not sure if the statue, or maybe the statues play a part in that.
Can the statues move or turn?
No, they're fixed in place.
Can I find a sign of another entrance or exit?
Give me an investigation or perception roll.
Probably not.
Yeah, you're not seeing anything in here. Yaereene, do you want to attempt it as well, or are you just letting Ysmyr do that?
I do. I'll check. What are we looking for? Another exit?
I feel like there's another door somewhere. Can you just look around? I'm having no luck.
Yeah, Yaereene sees the way the silver is worked through the walls. There's an archway behind the throne, right where those words that you found are in the wall. And you get the feeling that if you can figure out the riddle, that this door will open.
Well, I feel silly for missing that.
In the meantime, you guys have spent a fair bit of time running your investigations in the room, and Miri and Tempus have made it back upstairs. You come back upstairs, and where are you going?
I believe we had left the father slumbering in his bedroom, so I'm heading there.
Elder Morning Sun is in the main room enjoying wine.
Yeah, so he was doing that back in the housing area. So you guys head back to the main cathedral on your way. Miri, on the way back, you notice that there appear to be additional footsteps through the main cathedral that don't really match the gait of anybody that you're with or have been with in here.
Oh. Does my light spell work?
You try your light spell and it does not work.
Well, let's hurry back to where I left Elder Morning Sun and keep an eye out for anyone else who's here. Does the gate look shuffling or does the gate look normal?
It's not what you would call normal because it's barefoot and it's far too cold for most people to be barefoot, but it's also not shuffling.
So there's a reasonable chance that this creature is either something made of cold or undead. I am going to start yelling for Elder Morning Sun.
You get no response.
Tempus is going to... I'm assuming Miri has clued him into all of these signs, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm going to wave a hand at you and indicate that perhaps we should be quiet and find a place to hide quickly.
All right, let's find some cover and sneak our way towards where I last saw Elder Morning Sun.
We're going to try and stealth towards him.
Okay, give me some stealth checks.
What kind of disadvantage do I have on that?
Scale mail does give you disadvantage, so you're going to roll twice and take the lower of the rolls.
Apparently that went rather well.
Wow. Even in scale mail, yeah, you're moving like a shadow. Tempus is actually the one making the most noise. As you guys sneak through the pews, you make your way back to the doorway for the housing section without making much of a sound at all.
Storyline-wise, this is because I know the place so well. I know exactly where the creaky boards are.
Makes sense?
So upon getting to the housing area, do we see anything?
Give me perception checks. Okay, so you guys don't hear anything as you approach the housing section.
Okay. Upon entering the housing section, I'm heading straight for where I remember Elder Morningsun being.
Okay. You get to his room, and you find him slumped against the wall with a sword being shoved through his chest by a rather gaunt-looking fellow, scraggly gray hair, and you hear him say, "You'll never tell anyone about Clethor now."
Well, if I were a more intelligent person, I'd note that name, but sadly, I'm hitting him with a reckless attack from behind.
Okie doke. Roll initiative.
Was Miri close enough to catch the name?
Yes, you were. You were both together.
All right. Then Miri caught the name and makes note of it.
Nice in it roll.
Thank you.
Hey, it's your guys' turn to get in a fight without us.
See, it all works out eventually.
So much blood.
Well, at least the one came out on initiative and not on attacking something.
I am still sad for the initiative roll. Oh no. Well, at least I hope I got higher than him.
20 versus 9? I think so.
Who knows what sinister amount of modifier this guy may have.
Ow.
Okay. So Tempus prepares to charge into the room while Miri is making a mental note. And this guy beat your perceptions earlier. Miri, does a 14 hit your armor class from behind?
My AC is 18.
Second attack hits. You take 14 points of damage, and please make a Constitution saving throw DC 12.
Crap.
Congratulations, you are not paralyzed. But you are severely hurt as something comes at you from behind and rakes claws across your back and neck.
And I'm down to 3 hit points.
That'll happen. Tempus, your turn.
Okay, I was hoping to get a surprise round on the guy as he stabbed the priest, but...
You can still have a surprise round on him, just so you know.
So if I hit him from behind, though, am I aware of this somebody attacking my cleric from behind as well?
Considering she's probably shrieking, yes.
Yeah, you probably hear Miri's reaction to being attacked. If she would have been paralyzed, I would have said no, but she's passed the saving throw.
Change in plans then. Instead of charging the guy in the room, I'm going to spin around and take a look at what's assailing Miri.
You see a ghoul behind her that has leaped onto her back and is clawing at her with long dagger-like claws.
Okay. Am I able to get at it with my halberd without moving from my space in the doorway?
Yes, it currently has cover from Miri, but you can attempt to make an attack. It'll get a +2 to its armor class.
I'll take it, making a reckless attack.
I wasn't aware allies granted cover.
Roll well.
So that totals to 24 to hit.
That's a hit.
6 damage total because I am out of rages for the day, and because I made a reckless attack, all attacks against me until my next turn have advantage.
Okay. So you turn around and attack this guy. And next up is the figure who's over Jean Delar, and he turns. None of you are looking at him. He says, "Urus Dark, come to finish me at last, have you?" And he leaps into the fray, swinging at the ghoul as well. And hits. And next up is Miri.
And none of my magic is working.
Nope.
It wasn't a minute ago, but now might be a good time to try.
Not if that ghoul is still in my face.
It certainly is.
If you try and cast your spell, that would blow your action, so all you can do is bonus and movement.
Yeah, that's the thing. If I blow my action trying to cast something, then that's not useful. So it's much more effective to whack this thing in the face with my mace.
That's a miss.
Well, Can I get away from the thing?
Well, you used your attack, so if you try to move away, it will get an attack of opportunity on you.
Then I better not.
Is she considered grappled?
No, it's just like right behind her, and it's a narrow hallway, so people can't like get
I
around her.
turned around.
Yep, yeah, you're fine.
So it's not behind me anymore, it's in front of me.
Right, and it backs away, and all of a sudden the entire
I
air.
get an attack of opportunity.
No, you don't. It disengaged. It backs away, and all of a sudden the entire area that you're in is filled with magical darkness, and nobody is attacked. Next up is Tempus.
Charging through the darkness, trying to get out into the hallway and get to an area where I can see.
Okay. You charge down the hallway and out into the main cathedral, and you can see. You're outside of the magical darkness, but there's nothing to see out here.
I'll roar at the top of my lungs, "Creature, come and face me!"
Not surprisingly, there is no response.
What if I make that a diplomacy roll?
You can try, I guess.
That is the most interesting use of diplomacy I've heard yet.
-1 for persuasion, that still ain't half bad.
Yeah, there's no response to your call. And Miri, you feel a cold hand grip your upper arm, and the voice whispers, "Come with me, I shall lead you from the darkness."
Is this voice familiar at all?
You just heard it say, "Now you'll never tell anyone about Glathor."
No, I'm not going anywhere with you. And I try to hit it with my mace.
All right, give me a roll at disadvantage. So that's a 21 total. Yep, you make contact and whack this creature upside the head with your mace. Roll damage.
Okay, because I didn't write it down because I don't expect to use it, what is the damage level of a mace?
It's d6 bludgeoning damage.
Bonk!
No bonuses?
No, she has no strength bonus. All right, you club this guy upside the head, and he grunts, and you hear him back away from you. Tempus, you are standing outside the darkness.
Back into the darkness, going to find my cleric.
Who is backing up. She knows this place and is fairly confident in her ability to find her way back out of the darkness towards where Jondalar was.
Okay, that entire room where Jondalar was is in magical darkness as well. So you do manage to find your way where you think is in there, but you still can't see anything. So Tempus, you go into the darkness, and what are you doing?
Can I find my way to Miri? Can I smell anything?
Give me a perception check. No, the smell of blood in the hallway and foul undead stench is overpowering your ability to sniff out Miri. So you're just standing in the dark.
Okay, if I can't detect anything, then with what remains of my move action, I'm going to spread my arms out and just start walking on down the hallway until I make contact with something.
Okay, you spend your turn walking down the hallway. And we'll just drop initiative at this point. Miri, you are sitting in the darkness, and you do find Jondalar's body crumpled on the floor in the corner. And Tempus, you're not really having much luck stumbling through this darkness, but you do get out on the other side of it, but you're still in the housing section in a hallway near rooms that you guys were given for your stay.
I'm sniffing the air, trying to get a handle on where either of our opponents may have gotten to.
Okay, perception check. There's no smell of the undead in this area of the housing. All of the smell is coming from behind you in the darkness.
Okay, so if I'm able to, if I'm detecting all of the bad stuff outside of the darkness, and I'm in the housing area. Can I stumble my way through to the father's quarters?
You can give that a try. Yeah, if you move at half speed, you'll be able to find it. No problem.
I will do so until I can hook up with Miri and we can get to the father's body.
Okay, Miri's already at Jondalar. So Miri, what are you doing?
I am going to basically say last rites over Elder Morningson's body. And his last request was to be buried within the catacombs. So I'm basically preparing to take him down there.
Okay.
Tempus's help would be very much appreciated because Tempus can probably carry him with ease.
Yeah, it takes Tempus a little bit, but eventually he does get into the room with you.
After bunking into far too many walls, is the magical darkness still up?
Yes.
Okay, after bonking into far too many walls, I'll finally find my way over to Miri, if by just following her and the last rites. Can I make another perception check to see if there's anything nasty hanging around in the area?
Yep. There is definitely a strong smell of the undead in here. Whether they're still present or it's just because he was in here with Jondalar, you can't really tease apart, but there's definitely a strong sense of the undead in here.
Okay, I'm going to mutter gruffly in the darkness. Miri, it's not safe here. Let us take the body and head back to the catacombs. And as long as Miri doesn't object, I'm going to bundle him up in his own bedding and sling him over my back like a load of wash.
Yeah, you're not going to get much disagreement. Yes, it will be best to finish the last rites in the catacombs, and perhaps I can get some form of healing, because my magic is still not working. I'm not very useful when my magic's not working.
Have you tried? Try now. Try to heal yourself.
I'm going to start with trying a light cantrip first.
The darkness remains.
Am I getting any effect from the light cantrip, or can I just tell it's not working?
Even if it was working, it wouldn't be powerful enough to overcome the darkness.
Can I sense whether it's working or not?
You didn't get any sense of like divine power rushing through your body or anything like that, no.
Okay. Nope. Magic's not working. Let's get going. Also, I still have my mace in my hand because I don't know if that creepy dude who killed my ancestor is still hanging around. And if he's still hanging around and tries to touch me, I'm going to hit him in the face again.
Sorry. We'll make our way back to the catacombs, keeping a weather eye out, our heads on a swivel. I've got the body. Miri's right behind me, and we're going as quickly as we can.
Miri has probably a hand on either your belt or on part of where you're carrying Elder Jondalar.
Yeah, you guys have no problem getting through this darkness. It's not a huge area of darkness. It's a 15-foot radius. It was just enough to cover the room where Jondalar was and the hallway leading up to it. So you guys get out to the main cathedral, no problem, and back to the catacombs without issue.
It's just dark! And if you don't know where you're going, bump!
We'll work our way back.
Okay, to what part of the catacombs are you going?
Where everybody else was.
Exactly, until we find the group.
Okay. At this point, Keitira, you finish your ritual, and there is no magic about the decaying book in the alcove.
Nothing identifying it, nothing giving an idea of what the tome was when it was in good shape?
No, there's no writing on the cover or anything like that.
Damn, I was afraid of that.
And you guys see Miri and Tempus come into the room with Jondalar over Tempus's shoulder and Miri covered in blood.
What the hell's been going on?
What happened to you two? You 3? What happened to Jean Delors?
We are under attack.
Elder Morningstar is no longer part of the world. We brought him down here because his final request was to rest in here with the bones of his ancestors. And my magic's still not working. Can somebody please heal me? I have very little reserves left.
What attacked you? What attacked him? What attacked you?
Tempus will take a moment to explain that there was a human assassin who killed, or excuse me, a humanoid assassin who did not appear to be undead, who slew the father, at which point Miri was attacked by a ghoul. When we turned to fight off the undead, the human assassin briefly attempted to fight with us, at which point we were cast into a magical darkness and both assailants disappeared.
So they weren't working together. They were.
They weren't working together, but a ghoul and an assassin showed up, fought you, and disappeared, and you came down here. Were you followed?
I don't think so. The ghoul vanished in the darkness. The Naughty Ghoul who killed Elder Morningsun said something about Elder Morningsun not being able to tell us about Glothor now, and I remembered that might be important.
Well, someone keep an eye out for that assassin, because who knows if they followed you here.
Ryan, I'm kind of noticing that Miri is dripping blood like a hell, and I do a cast Cure Wounds on her.
Sure, yeah.
While he's doing that, Ysmyr is, like she said, asking someone to keep an eye out for sudden assassins, and then gonna take a breath at this and then be like, well, I just read about Glothor on one of these plaques here, so I don't think the assassin was on time. I'm sorry it happened.
That's 8 hit points back to you, Miri.
Thank you, that's something at least.
Tempus, you don't smell the scent of undead down here.
I'll pass that along to the party.
All right, so, well, apparently we're not supposed to know about Glothor, but there's at least a little information on the plaque over there. The one on the throne, I believe it was.
Okay, I start wandering, and I'm looking for the Glothor alcove.
There's no Glothor alcove. It's just mentioned on the plaque for the Canopy King when it says that he was slain by grief for the double loss of his son to Glothor, the vile Lich Lord, and then needing to slay his son by his own hand when Thelinar rose as an undead fiend.
Ugh. All right. Okay, so we've got 4 alcoves. We have 9 names ascribed to them.
6 alcoves.
Glithor is the enemy we're having to go after, basically.
That's what it sounds like to me, and Ryan, being a canny a DM, ain't going to tell us squat. Okay, so we've got the alcoves. The creature that was keeping watch isn't keeping watch anymore. I'm going to approach the alcove of the third dude with the book because it's book, learning, lore. That's what I'm interested in. And I'm going to try and actually search that.
As you handle the book, it breaks apart in your hands.
You just hear me heave a great big sigh and kind of collapse on myself.
Oh, and I'm also going to add that the human person stuck around a little bit longer and tried to pull me out of the dark, but I smashed him in the face because I knew he was the one who killed Elder Morningsun.
I understand you were upset, but you could have got a name, maybe some answers, Miri.
I wasn't going to let him take me anywhere.
And she might have been killed and finished off to be kept silent.
That too. I was already very badly injured.
Is there any blood on your mace?
No.
I didn't manage to hit him very hard. I mean, it's only a mace, and I'm not that great with it.
But it's still a mace. And
Yes,
there
but I'm
should be
used to
some...
my magic working, so there's not a whole lot I'm great at with the mace.
Miri,
Well, you're going to have to learn.
I'm working on it.
are you actually a devotee of your god, or are you just a mewling fuel that takes advantage of the spells?
I am devoted.
Then suck it up, my dear, and do what you can to regain your god's favor.
It's not that I've lost my god's favor. It's that Foltus is
Is it?
imprisoned.
No, it's not a favor thing.
All I'm saying is I'm tired of you caterwauling and complaining about not having spells. You still got a good right arm. You still have faith in your god. And so you do what you can with what you got.
But what I've got has been suddenly reduced by quite a bit, and I'm not used to that. And it's going to take a while to get to a point where I'm more useful with what's available to me at the moment.
Miri, you're useful, period. Don't denigrate yourself thinking you have value.
I need more
Always.
practice with
No,
the mace.
hush, child. You've got value.
Don't
You're
call me
worthwhile.
child.
Don't act like one.
All I said was I need more practice.
Which is fine, Miri. We're telling you that is fine. And we're telling you you are skilled and you are valuable. Yes, you don't have magic. That sucks. It absolutely does. But we are telling you this is your chance to become more than just someone who slings it around. You just don't have to complain about it all the time. We know it's missing.
I'm actually going to use and inspire on Miri to make her realize that she has value, give her some self-confidence, and actually stop her not trusting her abilities or herself.
I don't think that's something you can really just do to someone.
Yeah, you can't roll ability checks against somebody else like that, like from character to character. That's more for trying to persuade NPCs. But I'm sure your talk has given Miri something to think about.
Let's all just take a breath. Miri, if you would like to bury or set Jean Delar up, I will help you. Someone else take a look at the riddle we found behind the throne, and someone keep an eye out just in case that assassin comes back.
Ryan, could I try and do a lore or history check to try and think of some proper song? Send John Deler off?
Also, in the meantime, Tempus is going to take a moment to clasp Miri on the shoulder and say, "For what it's worth, you struck a blow against your foe, and I am proud of you for that."
Yes, it wasn't a very hard blow. I need to work more with my mace.
Oh, that's a start, though, and we'll help you keep practicing.
Yes. For now, let's lay Jean Delar to rest properly, and then I'll practice my mace work while you figure out, because I can't read all the Elvish. I really should have learned.
Well, I can read it out to you, start teaching you
All right.
that, and you can help us think out the riddles as well. You don't have to read it. You just have to help us
Yes.
think.
Let's begin by properly laying Jean Delar to rest. Is there an empty alcove somewhere in here?
You guys hear me try and play an appropriate tune, but it's just so freaking inappropriate that you're all just kind of like wincing and like looking at me like, really? Is that what you want to do?
Katara, can you help us look for an empty alcove, please?
I stopped playing, realizing just how everybody's addressing it. Blushing furiously, I just stop and do what she tells me to do.
While they're looking, Ysmyr's kind of gonna pull Miri aside and just be like, I'm sorry for snapping. A lot clearly happened while you were gone, and I got worried. And you saw me after the battle when we went for the orcs, and I lost many friends during that battle. So I understand it's hard, and if you need to talk, I'll try and be an ear and less snappy about it. I'm sorry.
Sorry to interrupt you. There is an alcove upstairs. These ones are all belong to named people that have things, but you do remember that there were empty alcoves upstairs. Also, Tempus, thinking about shifting that lid over the opening from the upstairs. It would not be an easy thing to do, but of course you can try.
Okay, so we're going to have to go back upstairs to bury Jondalar. Let's go do that first. And we can close the door to the catacombs from there and block it. And that should be enough for the moment.
I don't think we've figured out everything we need to figure out down here.
We'll come back down here as soon as we've buried Jondalar.
Then we don't need to shut
No,
the
we're
door.
not shutting the door to down here. We're shutting the door upstairs.
The treasury room door?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so there is an empty alcove upstairs that has no copper pennies in it like the other ones. So you get the feeling that this would be where Jondalar would want to be laid to rest, and someone goes back and closes the doorway, no problem. And what do you guys want to do next?
Miri is going to complete the funeral rites. She'll pull out a couple copper pennies from her own purse, and I should be able to have a couple copper pennies somewhere, and place those over his eyes and give him the final blessings of last rites as proper to his religion. And thus, yeah, there's no more worrying about whether we're really allowed to take whatever's here. Whatever's here is ours. Jondalar has no more use for it. It may as well be useful. So, last rites, and she will sing the chant that sends them off to the other world.
I just play like a nondescript wistful tune to that.
Miri, you said that you wanted some copper pennies. We have a number, we have 1,400 copper pennies that we found in the treasury. Further to that, we also have some of those items that we found. I didn't write those down, so I hope somebody else kept track of the various potions that we had found and such. Did we want to leave any of these other possessions there? Do we want to bury him with some of his favorite vintage? Is there any other way that you would like to mark his passing and lay him to rest with?
Let's bury him with a bottle of the wine and one of the cups so that he can have some to share with whoever he meets on the other side.
I would suggest we wait because I don't want anyone going up there alone. We don't have the wine with us.
And then you see Katira kind of bring a bottle out from his backpack.
Never mind.
Now, cups. Didn't we all grab one of those cups after? And he had one in his own hand?
Oh, did you write them down?
We didn't loot any of the cups. No, we left them for his use.
Well, we can add those later because we're probably going to have to come back up to the surface after we're done with whatever's in the catacombs.
Okay, getting back to the catacomb. Now you're saying that in that room, all we saw were like passages, like that were alcoves? There were no actual further tunnels?
Ysmyr has mentioned a secret tunnel and a riddle to open it a couple times.
Was that the riddle about obscuring the eyes, and that was done?
Yep.
Another thing, we just met a creature that did darkness. What if we did something like that? Or put out all the torches?
There are no torches lit.
So we're standing in pitch black right now?
Yeah, you all have dark vision.
We're all dark vision,
Okay,
aren't we?
fair enough.
Are all of us dark vision? I thought Tempus might not have it as an orc.
Once John Delar's buried, Ysmyr's gonna make sure everyone's together and just be like, here's the riddle. Here's the archway that Yaereene found. We covered the statue's eyes, but past that, I don't know what I'm missing, what we're missing here.
Well, until we try and get past it, we'll never know.
Can I try and push on the archway?
Yes, you can. Give me an athletics check.
So happy for that +2 that makes it 0.
It doesn't budge.
Tempus, you think you might want to have a go?
What am I pushing on?
The silvery veins in the walls of the area around the throne kind of meet behind it and make an archway, right?
Yeah, there's silvery vines along the walls made out of metal, and as Yaereene pointed out, there's an archway here around the riddle that says, "Trespasser, so long as I bear witness to you, the way shall remain shut."
I'll push where they're indicating.
It does not budge.
Since you mentioned that whole magical darkness, do we have any way of creating that?
Ryan, from reading that, do I get any idea of what the possessive tense is referencing?
Give me an insight. And Yaereene, I don't think anybody has a darkness spell in your group. You're all level 2.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, not yet.
16.
Given that the riddle is behind the throne of the Canopy King, you get the sense that it is referring to the Canopy King.
I go around in front. Is there a discernible face on the Canopy King? Is there eyes?
Yes, and the eyes appear to follow you no matter where you are in the room at any time, and it's a full figure of an elven male sitting there, complete with hair, a circlet, ears, eyes, mouth, nose, neck, torso, legs, arms, everything.
Just a reminder, Yaereene put a bandana around the eyes because
What if we all go behind him?
Yeah, can we feel him watching behind us?
That's a simple way to try.
When you're all behind him, nothing changes.
can the statue see through to the 4 other statues?
You think the angle would be wrong. Like I said, it's a larger than life statue, so it's quite tall and takes up the entire side of the room. I can't really see through the hallway.
Okay.
Okay, quick check. Second level bard doesn't have second level spells yet, does he?
Nope.
Okay, so much for knock.
Ysmyr is going to go back to the other alcoves and see if she's missing anything.
Okay, so in those 6 alcoves, again, just to summarize, the first alcove for Thelinar has one rusted old sword and another one that's still in good condition with a couple of runes pressed into it. Corsifan's has 10 blue arrowheads. Waferel's had an ancient tome that has since disintegrated after Keitiara attempted to take a look at it. Gilles Ferenz had the sea holy symbol on a silvery chain. The one for Sharina had a tarnished silver circlet of leaves. And Ariel's had a small golden box, like a miniature treasure chest type thing.
Do any of you think the rest of these have value? Like, Ysmyr's eyeing up that golden sword, or the sword with the runes, the good one.
Well, if it's a long sword, I'd take it, but if there's others that, if it's not a long sword, others may find more use of it.
It is the equivalent of an elven longsword.
I could use it too.
As could I.
You know what? I'm supposed to be playing me instrument. I'll let you take a sword and let me play.
Oh, short. Never mind.
So sorry, who's gonna loot that? Ysmyr or Yaereene?
Ysmyr,
Ysmyr.
Okay.
she'll pick it up.
There was a golden box, was there not?
Yes, there is.
Yaereene, take a look at those arrowheads as well. I'm wondering if any of these have anything to do with the riddle or if they're just here. And she saw Katira pick up the tome and it fall apart, right?
Yeah, you were in the room when that happened.
Then she's going to kind of like check and double check and then pick up the sword.
Okay, you've picked up the sword.
And if nothing instantly happens, she'll probably carry it for a bit.
Okay.
Yaereene will take a look at the arrowheads to see if she can see if there's anything special about them.
Okay. They appear to be of fine quality and are blue in color, and there's 10 of them.
Ryan, the guy that's in the seat there, does it look like he's carved or is he just sitting in it?
He's definitely carved stone.
I hate to mention desecration, but what if we just chisel his eyes out?
Oh, that seems problematic.
If it's not too presumptuous of me to say, this is a hall of your honored ancestors, your dead. I am not an elf. It is perhaps not my place to comment on this sort of thing, but it does not seem appropriate that we would solve a riddle by desecrating this place.
I would have to
No,
agree.
it doesn't. I'm pretty sure there has to be another way to solve it.
What the hell do we do? Talk to it and say, hey, we need to get through and we're your friends.
Ryan, looking at the ground around the statue, is there any kind of like you said that the statue is carved stone, is there any indication that it was moved in there, scrapes on the floor or any such thing?
No.
What about the statue itself?
I push on one shoulder, seeing if it'll turn.
It won't turn, and the statue appears to be all one solid piece that's carved right from the same ground that you're standing on.
And you said that the statue's wearing a crown, right?
Yes, it is.
Crown is one piece as well?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry. I mean, like, to me, it's gotten to the point where we got to knock its block off or remove its eyes.
It can't. Its eyes are covered. It could hear us.
I feel pretty uncomfortable with carving out its eyes, so.
I don't even think we have the right kind of tools to do that with anyway.
Or we're overthinking it with the statue. There might be something else.
Yes, that's probably it. It might not even be just this statue, it might be the others. Yet, all of us packing in behind it where it can't see us doesn't seem to... What if we took the blindfold off and then packed in behind it?
I'm willing to try it, but okay, is it talking about the vines being witness to us? Do we need to remove the vines on the walls or do something with them?
Again, I don't think we have the tools to that.
And you did roll that insight check earlier, Katiara, that made you think that the riddle is specifying the king and the throne.
Now, the other thing it does is it indicates trespassers. What if it thinks we aren't a trespasser?
Trespasser.
Okay, Ryan, I'm going to go ahead, move to the front of the statue, kneel, bow, acknowledge it, and say, with your blessing, we need your acceptance to let us go on so that we can defeat the darkness that threatens the area, the statue, you, and everyone else. Do I have your blessing?
There is no response from the statue.
I go up and I try the archway anyways.
Okay. You want to give me an athletics check?
Is he the only non-elf in the group?
Miri is also not an elf.
A mighty 3.
You actually hurt yourself trying to push on this archway. So, yeah.
Hear me grumbling, cursing, limping away, and blaming everything on the stupidity of the elders that set this frickin' puzzle.
Miri, would you be willing to step outside with Tempus?
All right.
Okay, so Miri and Tempus step out of the room, and nothing changes.
After 5 minutes of that, Tempus realizes that no, he should be allowed to ride at the front of the bus the same as everyone else, and he comes back into the room.
Well, long before 5 minutes have passed, we'll call you back.
Okay, so we've covered the statue's eyes, but no particular change. Taking the bandana off of the statue, what do we see looking at the eyes of it?
They're completely smooth. There's no detail in it. It's just the eyes are just smooth orbs set in the face.
And pressing on them, it's just smooth, solid stone.
Yep.
Okay, gang, cuddle pile activate. Let's all get behind the statue.
We did that!
It can't hurt.
We tried that after taking the blindfold off, too!
When it was blindfolded.
Yes, we did!
Well,
Not with everybody
No, we
in the
didn't.
room.
Yes, we did!
well, if you would humor me, we can try one more time, and if it doesn't work, then we know that we were wrong.
Whether you did it before or not, it doesn't work.
Thank you.
Can we try covering its ears and its eyes? It can't hear, it can't see, it can't bear witness to us.
Yes, you can try that.
So she'll put the blindfold back on, and if there's something she can stuff in the ears, she will.
Okay. Yeah, you manage it, and when you do that, you hear a rumbling of stone as the door from the archway slides open.
Brilliant!
If you just listened to me the first time.
I was trying different things. I'm glad that yours worked. Thank you very much.
Sorry, I was staring at that for so long.
So behind or through this archway, you can see a stairwell leading down.
All right. Do we go down it now, or do we do a rest and go down?
Check for traps? I'm okay, but I don't know. We're only it's only the afternoon, right?
OOC, second versus third.
Yeah, it's around noon right now. You guys have been at this for the morning.
I say we go. We're not tired yet.
I think we're good to continue messing about with this. I know Miri needs healing, and I know that there's a level up waiting, but I'd like to try and get a little bit further into the sanctum if we can.
Gave Miri some healing, but it was only 8 points, so you're at 11 now?
Yep.
Yaereene, maybe you and I can go first, and we can let Miri hang back
But
a
we
bit
shouldn't
so
leave her as the
if
very back
something
person.
pops up, she doesn't get hit right away.
With this being underground passages, I'm worried about both sides. So I'd rather have her in the middle and have somebody in front and in back. I'm squishy too. I'm not quite as squishy as her, so I'm willing to be part of the back guard.
Sounds good. I'm happy to go first.
Not supposed to be squishy. I'm wearing chainmail. Not chainmail. Scale mail.
Miri, say thank you and just nod your head.
When we're injured, you'll protect us.
So I've got your marching order as Tempus, Ysmyr, Miri, Yaereene, and Keturah. Is that correct?
Worse for me.
I thought someone stronger was going in the back.
Yeah, you can put me in the back, behind Katia.
Okay.
So I'm fourth.
Yep. Tempus, you are heading down the staircase first.
Well, Ysmyr was volunteering to go first.
No, I've got I've got the lead. That's okay.
All right. So you head down these dark stairs and come to another room deeper underground. And in here, you find 3 carved stone doors, one on the wall to the left, one on the wall straight ahead, and one on the wall to the right, that appear like they could be alcove covers. So they're not like a proper door that you can walk through. Each of those stone doors is decorated with a sleeping elf. One has a starburst symbol on his plate armor. Another has antlers sprouting from her temples, and the last wears a skull helmet and spiked armor. In the middle of the room is a pedestal.
Are these matching the statues in the first room upstairs?
Not at all.
More menacing feel?
Just different. Like they're still elven figures, but they're not statues. They're carved into these into the doors, so it's a completely different medium that they're created in.
Okay, looking out at the room, I'm going to gesture to the party to stand back, and I'm going to walk out to the pedestal.
Okay.
Is there anything about the pedestal, or is it just a smooth column in the middle?
It rises up, and Tempus, you can see that there's a flat surface as you approach on the top of it, and there is again this language that you don't understand carved into it.
Okay, if nothing hostile or inimical happens as I walk into the center of the room, I'm going to wait 5 seconds, turn to the party, and suggest that the person with the best investigation take a look around.
Oh, Tempus, you notice that you're extremely thirsty right now.
Well, that makes a lot of sense because I was running around and chasing after undead, so I'll take a quick swig of water.
I want to move closer and take a look at that pedestal.
Okay. Tempus, how committed are you to a quick swig? Because your instinct is to gulp the entire water skin.
Well, if that's my instinct, it has to be correct, so I'll drink the water skin.
Okie doke. Kaitiera, you approach the pedestal and you see on top of it there is a rhyme written into it in Elven. In the time before we fought our wars, one elf against another, there can be no greater sin than elves slaying a wife and mother. When gods fall silent, their heroes die, the land begins to heal. The new gods offer peace and quiet, for the old gods they did seal. The question we put before you now, which one did they not smother?
Okay, I recite the rhyme to everyone, and then you just see me sit down cross-legged in front of the pedestal and put my chin in my hand and start to furiously think.
Ysmyr will walk in. I'm just going to ask because it's there. Does she notice it's Tempus chug the water and find that odd?
I mean, you would have seen him do it, but I don't know if you'd consider it odd.
Okay, and then she's going to go listen to Kaitiera read the poem, read it herself. Do we think this is Glother?
I'm wondering, they don't mention the father. Is that the one, or is it the father they dealt with because of the wife and mother?
Perhaps you could consider the 3 different alcoves, one marked with a sunburst, one marked with antlers, and one marked with a skull helm and spiked armor, and perhaps that could give us more information about who the riddle might be applying to.
I'm going to roll a religion check.
Yeah, your religion skill isn't giving you any help or insight into this.
Cake.
Well, there's that name we weren't supposed to know.
I'm going to go take a closer look at each of the statues.
Okay, again, they're not statues; they're just they're carvings into the doors. Yeah,
The relates, whatever. I want to take a closer look at each one. Can I roll investigation on each of them?
for sure.
Okay.
Do we have any iconology references, symbolism for Growther?
Can I roll perception on each of them?
Okay, I've got a whole lot of questions being thrown at me right now. We'll go through the order that I'm seeing on the podcast channel. Kichara, can you ask yours first again, please?
Do we have any icon symbology or visual references to Growther?
From the plaque upstairs, you remember that he was referred to as a lich. On these, Tempus already said what the symbology is on each of the three. Miri, what was your question?
Can I use perception instead of investigation?
Yeah, you can take a closer look at the reliefs.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so you take a look at the three of them, and as you get to the third one, you notice that just underneath the skull, there is very fine writing that you can't read.
Is it Elvish? If it looks remotely Elvish, I'm going to call one of the elves over and say, hey, can you take a look at this, please?
And that was in the alcoves?
And that was on the relief of the third doorway with the skull and the spiked armor. And when Miri calls you over, you do see it's a little bit hidden away, so it was tricky to find. But there is the word Dowreth.
And you're going to hear Ysmyr curse when she reads that. I think I know the name, and it's a larger problem than we thought.
Well, at least that sounds like we've found something.
Yes. Remember,
Nothing
Miri,
good.
remember I mentioned a dream and I needed to find a weapon?
Yes.
That name is part of why. Here, I'll say it. It says Dowreth, and in my it's difficult to explain, but we can see if it works on the pedestal first, and then I can try and explain more, or I can try now and we continue.
That's up to you, whatever you're comfortable with.
Take the lead, lass.
Lead us, war leader.
Well, from my dream, I know that Dowreth is known as a hunter, and his rage is without limits. He is storming through the hells, cleaving the small things, and rounding up gods as he finds them.
Oh, that's not good.
That's what my dream told me.
So it sounds like we've found the one that wasn't slain and what we have to face in order to bring our gods back.
Possibly. I guess I can go speak it to the riddle or the rhyme and see if it opens something or shows us something.
Worth a shot.
So Ysmyr's gonna walk over there and say Dowreth.
Nothing happens.
Well, to me, the riddle sort of seemed like it was saying that the new gods rounded up and got rid of the old gods, but there was one that was missed. Do we know which one that might be?
Well, I'm worried it's Dowreth, but I could be wrong.
Would any of the friendlier gods perhaps have escaped that purge?
When you said Dowreth, did you go up to the pedestal and say that, or did you write it? Or
She went up and said it, but I can't remember if there was a way to write it.
This could be silly, but why don't you try writing it out with your finger on the pedestal?
Sure. And Ysmyr writes it out.
Nothing happens.
Tempus, can you see if that one, she points at the skullhead statue, will move?
I'll go over and inspect the alcove. Does it look like any of the notable iconography, like the skull helm or the spikes on the armor, can be removed?
No, it's all one solid piece of stone that's covering the alcove.
About how big?
Large enough that an elven body could be behind it, so it's about 6 feet long and a couple feet high.
And it's all out of solid stone?
Yep.
Well, now I'm just tempted to misinterpret Miri's instructions and try to lift the damn thing, but I'll give it my once over and report my findings to the group. What does everyone think?
Well, I meant like push on it or pull on it.
That's consent. I push on it.
I walk over and I put my shoulder on where the pauldron would be and push.
Tempus beat you to the punch. Tempus, I would like you to roll a Constitution saving throw as soon as you touch it, please. Okay.
Beg pardon. I'm proficient with Constitution, so add 2 onto that result. That's 19 total.
Okay. As soon as you put your hand on this covering, this dark and twisted cloud of magic writhes up your arm, and you can feel it trying to penetrate into you, and through sheer force of will, you're holding it off, but it continues to try. Kichiara, did you still want to brush up against that thing?
Against all my better judgment, I'm thinking that if an elf will touch it, it will break the curse on a non-elf touching it.
Tempest, let go!
No. And now it's a fight, so I'm effectively trying to push harder if I can. Do you want me to roll another athletics check, or?
You can't. I'm in there.
So as this blackness comes writhing up your arm, Kichiara touches it as well. And Kichiara, please make a Constitution saving throw.
Of course. Hang on.
Dang it, Richter, I'm the silly one.
Please get out of there!
Just hear me tell you that this is a dark creature.
But I have a stupid nobility about me that says, screw you, I can make it better.
Okay, so Kichiara, the exact same thing happens to you as you touch this, nobly trying to save Tempus. Black cloud of magic comes swirling up your arm, and you can feel it trying to penetrate your being, but you manage to hold it off.
Both of you let go.
I don't know if it'll let go, but I'm willing to.
Okay, so is anybody else touching this?
No one else is touching that.
White. The rest of us are smarter.
Okay, fair enough.
I would like to try my light cantrip.
Tempus, you said you wanted to try to push it harder again?
Correct.
And give me a roll. And give me a Constitution saving throw, please. Okay. As you guys are watching him attempting to push on this stone to try to move it, it's not moving at all. And you can see that he's starting to bleed uncontrollably from everywhere. Kichiara, what are you doing?
I'm trying to kick Tempus's feet out from under him so he collapses.
Tempus, you will endanger us if you keep doing this. We will lose our protector in you.
Listen to your war leader and stop that.
Like, I've stopped pressing as soon as I managed to fight it off. Realizing the threat to me, I am just like trying to take out Tempest when I see him still pressing in regardless.
When you pull away, actually the black cloud continues to follow you, and I need you to make another Constitution save, please.
All right.
Ryan, I'm trying to see if my light cantrip will work. I am trying to see if my magic is going to do anything.
Nope, no magic. And Kichiara, you are continuing to push this black cloud away, and it's not able to penetrate your body. What's everybody else doing while this is going on?
While that was happening, do I manage to kick his feet out from under him and drop Tempest so he's no longer in contact?
Give me a grappling check. So that would be athletics.
Beat that if you can.
Inspiration.
Oh, damn!
I rolled 21 on his 17. You do not taunt the hype master, Ricky G.
So Katiara knocks Tempus to the ground, which is just absolutely amazing. But the black cloud continues to surround the both of you, even when you're not touching it anymore. Anybody else doing anything?
I'm going to run over to the one with the starburst on it and try touching it.
Okay.
Ysmyr can't do anything about the magic. She's going to be simultaneously yelling at those two for not listening and trying to figure out the riddle. So,
Okay. Miri, you charge across the room, and what are you doing with the one with the starburst symbol on it?
I want to tap the starburst symbol. That looks like a bright, and I'm figuring something bright might help us fight this darkness. So maybe this is sun power.
Okay, you touch the one with the starburst, and a blinding light fills the room. So none of you can see what's going on for a little bit. Tempus, I would like another Constitution saving throw, please.
Okay, that didn't do quite what I meant, but hopefully it'll help fight the darkness.
Woof.
Oh, the darkness is seeping into you more and more, and you continue to bleed just everywhere. Katiara, you've now wrestled bleeding Tempest to the ground. I would like you to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Before that, I cast Bardic Inspiration on both myself and Tempus.
Can you do that on two people at once?
Bardic Inspiration lets me throw it 3 times. I had one used up from the last session, so I had 2 left. I'm casting it on both of us, so that's a +6. We are able to use on our choice after the roll.
You can only do one creature per turn, though, is what I'm saying.
That's not my understanding, but let me read it again.
It says you use a bonus action on your turn to choose one creature other than yourself within 60 feet of you who can hear you, and that creature gains 1 Bardic Inspiration die. So you can't use it on yourself.
Not to tell you what to do, I'm planning to use my inspiration on my next turn. If you want to...
I'm going to cast him a Bardic. I'm casting a Bardic on him regardless. I still have an inspiration from earlier sessions I can use on myself. If I remember right, inspiration you have to declare before your roll, do you not?
That's correct, and it gives you advantage on your saving throw.
Okay, so I will take advantage on my con roll with inspiration.
Okay.
My con is +2.
Yep. And with a heroic effort, you manage to stave off the darkness, and the tendril of black cloud returns to the stone and disappears.
Come on, Tempest, fight off the foul beast.
Yeah, we'll just skip to Tempest's turn, since everybody was suddenly blinded by the light on the other side. Tempest, please give me another Constitution saving throw.
Don't forget, I gave you 1d6.
I'll refrain from using my my inspiration this turn because I've got Katiara's Bardic Inspiration, so here goes the roll.
Okay, so you managed to fight it off just a little bit, but it's still coming at you. You're at 2 successes and 2 failures. Anybody else doing anything before Tempest's next turn? Oh, the blindness fades. Standing before the other alcove lid that you guys haven't gone towards with the antlers, there is a being of pure light standing there and is holding a sword and shield.
Standing in front of the one with the antlers
Yes.
is a being of light with sword and shield. So somehow I have managed to inadvertently summon an
Before
ally.
you say anything else, in the contact in my release from the darkness, do I gather any knowledge, insight, or awareness of what it is that I was facing?
You can give me an arcane or religion check.
Doing it as religion, +2 instead of 1. Wow.
No idea.
I rolled
whatsoever.
8.
does it look like the being of light is going to attack us?
It's just standing there.
Does it look like any of the statues upstairs?
No, there's no defined form to it. It is just simply a being of light standing there.
Just one hell of a overload of light in a shape.
Tempus, please give me your last saving throw. Either pass or fail.
This one seems a big one, so I'm going to go ahead and use my inspiration point to roll twice. Adding 4, that's a 22.
You managed to fight off the darkness, and the bleeding that had started earlier stops completely.
All of you get over here, away from the alcoves.
I'll walk away, but not quickly.
Katiara, grimacing, holding his stomach, starts shuffling over.
Miri doesn't move. She stops to bow to this being of light and give it the best form of basic greeting that she can come up with.
It gives no response.
I go up to it, using any knowledge that I do of the old gods. I am trying to play music, honoring it, and trying to bring its focus to this plane and our situation.
As you approach it, give me a dexterity saving throw, please.
Frickin' wonderful.
You take 20 radiant damage.
I fall down, bleeding from my nostrils.
Oh,
So you
Was I agreeing to that?
you guys watch Katiara approach this being of light, and all of a sudden he just falls down smoking as light flares from the Guardian.
Can Yaereene try and staunch his bleeding?
You want to approach as well to get close to Katiara?
I want to be able to get to reach KTR with my fingertip and try and pull him further away from the radiant being of light.
Give me a dexterity saving throw, please.
How about if Miri does that?
I'm sorry, did I have to make my first death save?
Not yet, no. As soon as you went down, Yaereene ran in to try to haul you away.
Hang on. I'm going to try and stop Yaereene and suggest that Miri move in to do that. Because if it does the radiant damage thing again, Miri has resistance to radiant damage.
I think I rolled already, even though it took a long time to go. But that was a good idea.
Yaereene, you take 20 radiant damage.
I told you all not to go near these things.
She also falls to the ground.
Oh, God.
Miri, don't go close right now. Tempus, you do not.
Anybody else gonna do anything this turn before I start having them roll death saves?
Miri has resistance to radiant damage.
Yep.
She is going to bow, explain to this being that she'd like to get her friends out of the way.
This is gonna take your turn if you do this.
Honestly, take the turn.
Well, considering Miri can speak Celestial,
Okay. What are you saying to it in Celestial?
that I would like to remove my friends from its way. I would like to remove these unworthy ones from its presence.
It makes no response. Katiara and Yaereene, please give me death saves.
That's a straight up 1d20,
This is my
right?
first one. What do I do?
Just a d20. If you get 10 or higher, it's a success. 9 or lower is a fail. Yaereene, you've got a fail. Katiara, you've got a... This is ridiculous.
Don't even know how he did that.
And it's because he put a space between the 1 and the d20.
Yay, I failed. I marked it.
Okay. Miri, what are you doing?
Going to slowly approach and try to grab and
Make
pull
a
them out of the
dexterity
way.
saving throw.
If you have inspiration, use it.
Oh, I did. I should have thought of that.
I do, actually. So let's do that. We'll do advantage.
Please.
because you have resistance, you take 10 damage instead of 20.
Which leaves me with 1 hit point and the ability to yank them away.
Give me an athletics check, please.
Ow!
Or I just back myself out of the way again, because now I'm back down to 1 hit point.
Yeah, you heave and struggle and just aren't strong enough to get the two of them out of there.
All right, Miri, we need to stop and think.
But I'm not making death saving throws.
Does anybody have any healing potions?
There's those 4 red potions we found, but we need them away from the creature. And I can try. I'm not strong, though.
What's Tempus' reaction to seeing us go down?
He is currently away from keyboard, so he said Ysmyr and Miri can decide what to do with him.
He said, I think Yaereene and Miri.
Oh,
I think I'm currently biased, so why don't you go ahead?
He would probably go and try and drag him, though, let's be honest.
yeah, he probably would.
Yep, but he has how many hit points?
His sheet says full
I
health.
think his hit points are fine.
He's cursed. I don't think his hit points have been affected, though.
Yeah, he has 27 hit points.
He'd probably try.
All right, I'll roll his dex saving throw and whatnot. He succeeds, so he takes 10 points of damage, and as he goes to pull you away, the Guardian of Light disappears. So the pulling them away is irrelevant.
Well, since they're away, first concern is, do we take a risk with these potions and see if they're healing?
Do we want to use the potions, or do we want to use medicine or something to stabilize us and then use the potions to heal?
I have Spare the Dying, but unfortunately that counts as magic, apparently.
So potions or medicine?
I have medicine.
Okay, I think we'll both try healing them with medicine first, and if that doesn't work, we might want to try the potions.
Okay, each of you take one of them. Ysmyr, who are you performing your medical miracle on? Oh, doesn't matter. You both succeed, so you manage to stabilize their wounds, and no more death saves are required. They are unconscious for a while, though.
Yay!
Yep.
Do we risk the potions, or should we just let them rest and we'll just stay away from those walls?
Considering that a lot of us are pretty injured, let's just kind of grab a long rest.
Katiara, you are unconscious for 2 hours, and Yaereene, you'll be unconscious for 1 hour before you wake up.
Okay, if I remember right, we've got those funky healing rules with long rests.
Yes. You get 1 hit point plus your constitution modifier back for a long rest, and you can use your hit dice as well.
Okay, with the bard, there is a feature, Song of Rest. If you or any friendly creatures who can hear your performance regain hit points at the end of the short rest by spending 1 or more hit dice, each of these creatures regain an extra 1d6 points. Okay, that's a short rest, not a long rest.
Can you explain what you meant about using the hit dice, please, Ryan?
So you get 1 hit dice per character level, and when you sleep, or when you do a short or long rest, you can use as many hit dice as you want to roll basically the same type of dice that you use for rolling your class's hit points, and you get that many hit points back. You get hit dice back after a long rest at half your level per long rest. So it gives you a chance to heal up if you're in really dire straits.
So I could roll 2d10?
Yes.
I think I should do that. Ouch. But I also get 1 plus my constitution modifier too, right?
At the end of the long rest, yes. Is anybody else using hit dice?
Yeah, just a second.
That's one thing I don't know if I should speak for Tempus for.
Yeah, he's only taken 10 points of damage, so I don't know if you would want to. He's also having his rest disrupted, asking you guys for water.
That's kind of weird.
Especially since we saw him chug a whole water skin. When he gets back, we'll ask him about it.
Sure, yeah, we can retroactively let him use the hit dice if he wants to.
Okay, so went to 3rd level. So it would have been 0 plus 6.
Yeah, you guys will be 3rd level at the end of this rest.
If I don't have all of that figured out, is that okay?
Yeah, that's totally fine. If you just want to roll hit points, that would be good. Plus, I think you get spells at 3rd level as a ranger.
Yeah, I rolled hit points last session and did well after Kitiara's not so well.
Right, I remember.
Yeah, and I think I rolled a 1 that time too.
Okay, so I'm just trying to get an idea because I was 0 and we had the long rest, and the D&D Beyond is trying to put me back to 24, but I'm not there.
Right, that it does that because the base rules are that you get all your hit points back after a long rest.
Right, and the way I'm reading it is that I should get 6 for my con, and then I have to roll hit dice.
You get what you get is 1 plus your Constitution modifier back at the end of the long rest.
Okay, but I thought it would be 3 times my level plus the con modifier.
That isn't the way that we've been running it. It's just been 1 plus con, so it would be you'd get 3 hit points back.
So I have my con, which is +2, and even though I'm 3 levels, I only get 3?
That's correct.
Okay, there I am, 3 all glorious hit points.
And you can use hit dice, a couple of hit dice as well, and during the rest if you want.
Bard hit dice are 6 or 8?
Die 8, I believe.
2 or 3?
2.
Yay!
You're almost full health. And everybody who uses hit dice will get 1 back at the end of the long rest, too.
Yay, I get my Pact of the Blade now.
Nice.
2 magic weapons. Yay. Well, this is going to be interesting. So we're just kind of sitting around while everyone heals up, right?
Yeah, everybody's resting by the sounds of it.
Okay. And it was just touching those alcoves that kind of set things off, right?
Yes.
Kind of like how we saw Dowreth's name on the skull one. During the rest, can I just take a look at the other 2 and see if I can spot any names without actually touching anything?
Yes, you can.
So I'm guessing that would be perception?
Perception or investigation, whichever is better.
Okay.
And that's an ongoing check that you can continue. You can try again if you don't find anything on a first try too.
Okay, maybe I'll try it once more, see what happens, and go from there. Because she's just killing time while the others wake up now.
Yeah, this long rest is going to take like 10 and a half hours, something like that. So you got time to kill. The dice are not with you.
1 more?
Sure. So you do find on the one with the starburst, again, it's hidden on the relief, but there is the name Charot there.
Charot on the light one.
Yeah, with the starburst.
Okay, might as well try 1 more for the antlered one.
Okay. Ysmyr, looking at the other one, you find again this very faint writing that says Stormlord.
Okay. So after finding those, she's gonna kind of go rejoin the others, and as they wake up, she's gonna let them know what she found, And then, I guess, puzzling over the riddle. One of the things she's going to try saying to it is, well, actually, she'll wait for everyone to wake up. Never mind on that bit. How's everyone else doing?
I'm good to go.
It talks about a mother and child being killed, but the father's not smothered yet, as far as we know. But I don't want to go talking to the pedestal and having something happen.
Yeah, it didn't say bupkis about a dad. And seeing that recap, I remember Sharrow from the books, Ryan, but not enough to say anything.
And Gloreth was just a lich, right?
That's correct.
From what I remember from reading the original trilogy, is that Sharrow and Dowreth are the major gods. But that's out of character, so take it for what you will.
And when everyone's awake, she's going to have you all sit down so she can talk about people not listening and just reacting.
I'm at 3 rages, so I'm ready for a second round with that Dowreth sarcophagus. So looking forward to waking up.
Yeah, Ysmyr's going to shut that down.
Someone sit on him.
Everyone sit on him.
But the half-elf bard can take him all by himself.
Apparently, I was surprised by that.
I think we all were.
I wasn't. I had full confidence in my ability.
KTR has definitely grown quite a bit in Tempus's estimates. Like, there's a lot of respect there now.
I'm your hype master. I've got your back. When you need the boy to pimp you, I pimp you. I get you the crowd you deserve.
And that time you deserve to be knocked on your ass.
Well, we don't like to mention that as much.
So, in the midst of the long rest, how much damage did I actually take from the negative energy cloud that was attacking me?
That gave you no damage. The only damage you took was the 10 radiant damage before the guardian disappeared. So you're down 10, and with the long rest, you would get 1 plus your con modifier back. And if you wanted to use any hit dice, you could as well, because there was a short rest before the long rest, while they waited for Kaitiara and Yaereene to wake up.
If we're using the short rest rules, you get a d6 extra from my ability.
Okay, everybody gets an extra d6.
Hell yeah.
That'll take me up to 30, which is just 1 hit point shy of my new maximum. So, thank you.
Oh, and another thing, Tempus, we mentioned while you were gone also that during this long rest, you were extremely thirsty and needed to ask other people for water as well. So the group is out of water at this point.
And that is when I was going to have Ysmyr ask you, why are you so thirsty?
I can only presume it's after my exertions fighting the darkness.
I don't know if you're right or wrong, but it seems like too much. If you notice the darkness did anything else later, let us know, because I don't want you becoming a problem.
But of course, War Leader.
Because remember, a tribe is only as strong as its weakest person. Remember that.
I shall indeed. And I'm just going to surreptitiously look down at my arm where the darkness was, like, wrapping me up. Is there any, like, scarring, battle damage? Is there any sign that I was, like, physically harmed by it, or did it happen more on some sort of spiritual level?
Yeah, there's no physical markings on your skin at all from the spell that hit you.
Okay, I'm fine.
Okay, and since everyone's awake now, I think we need to talk about the fact that everyone charges in without thinking, and we almost lost 2 of you. We can't have that keep happening. We almost lost Miri earlier. Just everyone think a little bit more and maybe wait for help before going too far.
As you say, war leader.
Gutierrez is just coughing up a little bit of blood and nods.
All right. Well, take your rest, and when everyone is ready, I'd like to. I guess we can proceed, but just think about what just happened.
All right. So you guys have your long rest. You're all better, all leveled up, and you're still in this room with the pedestal, with the riddle, and the 3 lids.
So the first thing I do is go over to that Dowreth coffin and...
Tempus.
JK.
So Dowreth, Sharrow, and Stormlord are the 3 names. None of them seem to work with a rhyme, though.
Corellian doesn't fit the rhyme either.
Out of game, we do have that medallion that we recovered from the initial coffin that we grave robbed. So, what was that medallion for, Miri?
I don't remember.
The initial starburst one that you guys found in the first sarcophagus was used as a key to open up the hidden floor.
Okay, so we don't actually have it.
Yes, but I mean, what god did that represent? It probably fits Sharo.
It's the exact same symbol that you see on the relief with the starburst here that had the name Sharo.
Is there enough space on the blank pillar that I can just hop up and sit on it?
Yep.
I do so. No immediate effects?
No.
Okay, so now that we've eliminated Tempus as being a locked away god, do we want to try risking the last altar?
Considering what's happened with the rest of them, I think Ysmyr would get really mad at us if we tried to push on the last one.
Yeah, just maybe. Unless there's a clear way to open them, or they open when we get this riddle figured out.
Well, by process of elimination, we've only got one of them left, but if we don't want to give this one a try, then perhaps somebody should try investigating the room.
We did that. That was what we started with.
And we still didn't find nothing?
You didn't investigate the room. You did a quick look around, and you saw these 3 lids that were obvious and the pedestal, but you didn't do an actual investigation of the room itself.
Assuming we had an 8-hour long rest, can we investigate the room?
Sure. While you're taking your rest and looking around, you do find that there is a small hole in the wall that is opposite the staircase that you came down, but what it does, you're not sure.
Let's take a closer look at the hole. What size is it?
Very small.
Can we stick an arrow in it?
Are you going to try to stick an arrow in it, or are you just asking for interest's sake?
Will a crossbow bolt fit in it? Because that's what I've got.
No, you don't think it would.
Anybody got an arrow that might fit in it? I don't want to stick my finger in it.
Tempus sticks the back end of his braid into it.
Nothing happens.
And my luxurious hair is still there?
Yeah, your hair's fine.
Excellent.
That's not exactly something you can poke at stuff with.
I'll shrug and I'll stick a finger in.
Nothing happens. Although now I'm really wishing this was trapped.
Yeah. Ysmyr yells at you for that.
This is why I wanted to stick an arrow in it.
And still set something off without thinking about it. Check for traps.
Tempus is very abashed and says, "Of course, war leader," and then he'll stick his finger in even further.
Is the hole even big enough for your finger to fit?
Not really. He gets like the tip of it in, and that's about as far as it goes.
I'll turn back and strike an earnest salute and say, "I have found no traps."
Do I have like a sewing kit or something that might have, say, a needle?
Is it in your inventory?
I have a priest pack.
If nothing else, can Ysmyr, having rested and waking up with a new sense of new abilities, try making a weapon appear that's skinny enough to poke in there? Since the others tested it for traps now.
Sure, yeah, you can create a thin rapier and nothing happens when you poke it in there.
All right, then she just... And I just want to ask now, saying all those names and father do nothing with the pedestal, right?
That's correct.
Looking up at the roof, what does the roof look like?
The roof is just made up of solid stone blocks.
Okay.
I am going to carefully lean in and try to look through this little hole.
It's dark.
Can I find a candle?
No, you have dark vision, and like you can't see anything in there. Like it's just a dark hole.
Is there anything in the room that might look connected to that hole, like might fit in there?
Nothing you've found, no.
Katiara or Yaereene, any thoughts?
Not coming up with anything.
I think that leaves us with either trying to search the room again, trying to stick things into the hole, or trying the third altar.
I guess so.
Well, that'll probably be a lightning storm.
Let's not try things that will probably set off a lightning storm.
Oh, hold on a minute. The word smother has me thinking. Using my explorer's pack, could I start up like a little fire on the end of some tinder or something?
Yep.
Can I stick that little flame through the hole?
Nothing happens when you do that.
How about putting a little bit of flame on the altar?
Again, no effect.
I'm going to pull out a blanket and put it over the altar.
Nope, that doesn't do anything either.
Okay, I'm going to sit on my blanket on top of the altar. It's a good place to think.
Okie doke.
What are all the other names What was the king's name again? The Canopy King, sorry?
Yeah, it didn't actually have his name. He was just called the Canopy King on the plaque.
Okay, because...
Would I know his name?
Probably not.
All right, I'm going to sit there on top of the altar, pedestal, whatever it is, and start running through all of the important names from the stories that Elder Morningsun has told me. And I'm going to make a religion check to see if I can come up with anything useful.
You sit there puzzling this out, trying to figure out what could possibly be going on, and you start to wonder about how all of this might be connected. With the disappearing gods of the light and Ysmyr talking about Dowreth hunting gods in the hells, you start to wonder if perhaps you start to wonder what reason there might be behind these disappearances and why these two gods are causing so much grief in the heavens and the hells. And reading through this over and over again, you realize that perhaps Sharo and Dowreth were the ones who were sealed away.
And so it's the last one left, the Stormlord, who wasn't.
That's your thinking.
And does offering this line of thinking to the pedestal do anything?
Nope, pedestal just sits there.
Are you voicing this out loud?
Yes. Yes, I have been thinking out loud this whole time.
Tempus immediately takes a quick step towards the storm altar and then checks himself and looks back to Ysmyr.
What are your thoughts, Miri? Think it's worth the chance?
Yes. It's the only thing left that I can come up with.
All right, well, let's... Tempus, do you want to open it, or do you want someone else to open it? And let us all take a step back if you're doing it.
Everyone take a step back. I've got this. And once everybody's taken a step back, I will approach the altar.
Miri's not moving. She's just going to sit on the pedestal thing.
Okay. You approach it. What do you do?
I'm gonna look at the iconography on there. You said that it's an elvish figure, and that they have antlers. Yeah.
That's correct.
Taking a look at there, is there anything noticeable and maybe of the correct size to fit into the hole, like a pin or something on the altar on the statue?
Not that you see, no.
I'll shrug and gently lay my hands on the coffin.
Nothing happens.
I pat it. Are you sure nothing happens?
Yeah, nothing happens.
Then that 9 I just rolled tries to shove it open.
It swings open easily on large hinges inside. Small silver key inside the alcove.
I gingerly reach out and poke the key.
Nothing happens.
I lean in carefully and I give it a little lick.
What did you
Tastes like
find?
silver. Whatever silver tastes like.
I hope you're not licking a body.
I will gingerly reach out and take it between 2 fingers and then hold up a damp and glistening key to the party.
Oh, of course. Thank you, Tempus.
Oh, go stick it in the keyhole.
I'll do his bid and put it in the keyhole.
It fits, and the door swings open. And when the door opens, bright light radiates from the next room, illuminating the room that you're in dim light as well.